Yo, what do everybody? It's your boy Kelly TV, aka the Do Rag King. Chest size for you, your crew, back with some more reactions. We got top 10 worst video game console defects by Watch Mojo. Let's check it out.
Each Joy-Con includes.
Oh, by the way, my favorite console of all time got to be the GameCube. That's what got me into gaming. Curious to know what is your favorite console. Right now, I have the PS5 and the PC. I used to have an Xbox. I do want the Xbox though. Oh, I got a PS4 as well. But I was always an Xbox head though. Like I raved about Xboxes. I begged my mother up and down for the 360. I'm an Xbox head, but I went to PlayStation and now I went to PC. So yeah, man, I'm curious to know what's your favorite console. But we got top 10 worst video game console defects. I think the worst defect that I ever encountered had to be the blowing in the cartridges of the Nintendo 64, man. That has to be the worst defect ever, bro. From the box, it was a defect. So let's see if they got it on there.
Includes gyroscope and accelerometer technology.
Gyroscope by Nintendo?
So intuitive controls using movement or tilt are possible.
Oh, that's pretty dope.
Welcome to Watch Mojo, and today we're counting down our picks for the top 10.
Oh, the 360. Oh my gosh. 360 might be up there. 360 might be up there for sure.
For this
Definitely.
list, we'll be looking at notorious console design flaws
Red Ring of
that
Death.
led to serious issues down the road.
That
Did you
one
suffer
too.
through any of these? Because I know that I did. Let us know in the comments.
All right, let's see what they
Number
got,
10,
man.
Dead Pixels.
Never.
PlayStation Portable.
Wait, that Pixel does. For the PSP? I had a PSP back in the day. I used to love the
Already
PSP.
had a
I ain't gonna
hot
lie to
stack
you.
against it when it released its first portable console. Going up against Nintendo in that area had never gone well for other companies.
Facts.
And while it wouldn't reach the DS's sales numbers, it was a pretty impressive machine.
I thought the PSP
But
was really
soon
dope
after
though.
launch, many players began to experience dead pixels, or those that got stuck on a permanent color.
Oh
It is
yeah,
4.3
yeah, yeah.
inch wide TFT, LCD widescreen.
While Sony didn't initially view this as a console defect, as it was a
It really was,
with
though.
LCD screens, it eventually bent to gamer demand once more cases arose. And if you've managed to keep your PSP screen in tip-top shape, don't forget to check its battery. A more recent problem has seen them swell to the point of exploding or leaking.
It will entice new
Exploding?
consumers, perhaps some new to gaming.
Number 9. Loud fans and overheating.
Oh
PlayStation 4
yes,
Pro.
the loud fans on the PlayStation 4 Pro. That is a common thing, bro. My room used to be dumb hot. I mean, it's hot now because I got 2 PCs, but my room used to be stupid hot because of the PS4, dog. And I didn't even have a Pro, though. The PS4 in general is just loud and fan just, oh my gosh.
It's
Yes.
perfectly natural for a launch version of a console to struggle while running bigger games released later in its lifespan. But then you have the PS4 Pro,
Yeah.
which is better designed to handle those types of games. And yet, even with the system's vents clean of dust, reports of its overly loud fans sounding like jet engines have
Bruh.
clouded the internet.
受熱面に銅を埋め込んでおり、ヒートパイプ3本でフィンに伝えているとても大きな
Poorly
電子
made.
を搭載して
I
い
mean, it
ます
was great
A
made, but
console
the
being
man,
loud is a
dang.
minor annoyance. But some PS4 Pro players found that the console would then overheat, force quitting games, and
Yup.
in some cases, shutting down entirely.
Yep.
This seemed to be an issue in the launch PS4 Pro, not the newer one. But considering Pro is in the title, it shouldn't have been found there either.
Either, right, exactly.
PS4 Pro.
Number 8. Faulty disk drive. Xbox One.
I never encountered this one. I had an Xbox One. Now I look back at it, that Xbox One was so buns looking. Like, it's so trash
Microsoft's
looking, bro.
Xbox One didn't make the best first impression when it
It
was
really
revealed
didn't.
at E3.
And it's huge.
Reports of faulty disk drives
Freaking
soon after launch
box.
definitely didn't help its case. Upon inserting a disk, some Xbox Ones would emit a terrible grinding noise, unable to read it. This was attributed
I
to
always
the
bought
security
games
of the
on
drive.
things, so I didn't.
Xbox Snap TV that does 2 things at once, so I can
I
play
used to use
games
that
while I
function
watch
a
my favorite
lot.
shows at
I
the
did
same
use that
time.
function a lot.
Unless you were a purely digital gamer, this was a huge issue.
Yeah, I was a
and
digital
several
gamer for
homebrew
sure.
Methods of fixing it began to pop up. The most prominent was turning your console upside down and giving it a few whacks to realign the gear. Naturally, Microsoft advised against this and had to get in front of it quickly, offering replacements. along
That's
with
funny as hell.
modes.
That's funny. That's a fact, though. He ain't lying about that, dude.
Number 7. Disk read errors.
Come on, I know y'all went through this one, though. I know y'all went through this one. This one was annoying. Hey, I'm about to play Crash Bandicoot.
Sony's PlayStation 2, with its impressive graphics and built-in DVD player, was one of the biggest launches in video game history.
It
and
was.
still holds the best-selling console record more than 20 years later. But a common
Damn,
problem
really?
in some launch PS2s was an inability to read discs, DVD or otherwise.
That is kind of crazy though. Man, San Andreas.
The issue was so widespread that a class action lawsuit was filed against Sony in 2002.
Sheesh.
Compensation came in a variety of forms, depending on model number and date of purchase. Players affected could get $25, a free game from a specified list, a repair, or an entirely new console.
PlayStation.
Bro, they were selling PS4 for $400.
Number
I mean,
6,
PS2s?
a cheap controller. Atari
I never played
5200.
Atari.
The new Atari 5200 Super
It sucks. I know it sucks. I never played Atari though, man.
with a controller so advanced it plays
Damn, that controller look ugly as hell.
Atari consoles are famous for a lot of things.
Born in
Not all of
95, by
them
the way.
good. The follow-up to the groundbreaking Atari 2600, the 5200
Hey, that's how you put the thing in the
is now
disc?
considered one of the worst
That's how you do
of all
that?
time.
Only on the Atari 5200 Super System.
But aren't they hard to find?
They're everywhere.
Everywhere?
Although it had a pause button and an analog joystick,
Ah,
both rare at the time,
that controller
it was
looks
in the
like
latter
ass.
feature where the problems were most frequent. It was meant to offer greater movement, but was so cheaply made that it wouldn't center and become unreliable after repeated use. Also, its buttons, like the previously mentioned pause and the rarely used numeric keypad,
Bruh,
would
Atari
wear
looks
out
like
and break
ass,
after a
dog.
while. It could have
Even
been
back then, it
monumental,
just looks like
instead,
buttons.
It landed on this list.
The Atari 5200 Super System. Its only competition is you.
What was competing with the
Number
Atari
5,
back in the day?
The cartridge slot. Nintendo Entertainment.
Yeah.
Do you know what's on here?
No. I mean, kids couldn't have done anything. I mean, they're good kids.
I think I had one of those.
Soft drink or something on there.
No.
Is that the 64?
Despite being the console that saved the home video game market from the brink of death,
Right.
the NES wasn't perfect. Known
Oh,
as the
no, I never
Famicom
had the
in
NES.
Japan, the console featured a
Nah.
top-loading design, but when it was released in North America 2 years later, Nintendo wanted it to appear as an appliance like a VCR rather than a children's toy. Thus, the front-loading slot was born.
It's just like cleaning the heads
What?
of a VCR. Goes in there, cleans up the connectors there, cleans up the connectors inside the game packs. You're all set.
It was a smart.
I never
way to
had an
consider
NES
the
though.
1983, but it was easy for dust to get into the console.
So I never had an
Versus the
NES,
traditional
Atari,
hardware,
or the other
and
game system
inserting
they
games
mentioned.
periodically could cause the console's connector pins to bend and have trouble reading the cartridge. This design eventually
Cheap.
caused Nintendo to authorize official repair centers across the U.S.
Cheap.
You've always taken care of me, and
Shoot, the system's now the PS5. Cheap.
The warranty does specify.
They all got their malfunctions and
Number
shit.
4, yellow light.
All right, so
up.
we're on number 4 right now. I'm banking right now. Okay, number 4. All right, so they're doing PlayStation 3. Number 3 is going to probably be Xbox. I don't know what number 2 is, but I'm pretty sure number 1 is definitely going to be the Nintendo 64, where you got to blow on the shit and then you plug it in. That's probably going to be number 1, because that was the most frustrating thing known to mankind.
Death. PlayStation.
I never had
But he
a
was just
PlayStation
as
3 though.
interested as we were to hear that there was a potential fix for the PS.
Yeah, I never had a
yellow
PlayStation
light
3.
of death.
Purchasing a PlayStation 3 for an unprecedented $600 at launch, only to have it randomly shut down within its first 2 years, is frustrating to say the least.
Yeah, that is
While
very
it
frustrating.
wasn't a widely found problem, it was devastating to those who experienced it, myself included.
We set up.
Yeah,
a
I never
repair
had that
outside
problem.
Sony's London headquarters, and inside, independent console repairers Mark and Neil set to work straight away.
Overly hot launch PS3s and some slim models would shut down during.
Yeah,
gameplay,
I had
and
the Xbox
attempting to turn
360.
it back on would result in the yellow light, followed by a red flashing light. This was usually caused by capacitors in the system's motherboard wearing down, failing to deliver power to the CPU.
Now I look at it, PS3 was pretty nice
Later
looking though.
models would
I ain't gonna
replace
lie,
those
it looked,
capacitors. But for early models,
sleek.
players would have to trust in Sony to fix it or try a home.
it looked good.
They get rid of the yellow light of death by the end of the show.
The yellow light of
Hopefully,
death.
we'll find
That
out.
ain't worse than the
Thanks, Lisa.
motherfucking
Number
Xbox.
3,
Yeah, I knew
Red
it.
Ring of Death.
Number 1
Xbox
is definitely
360.
Nintendo with the blow cartridges.
Red lights are all
This was
featured in the
bad.
gaming community. Known
This
as the
was
Ring of Death.
I experienced this so many times, dog. I even bought a new Xbox 3 Rings of Death immediately, dog. Like this right here was one of the most frustrating things in the world, bro. And there was no way you can get rid of it. Like people would say, put it in the freezer, cool it down, put it water. Like, bro, there's so many solutions. People told me about it, bro. This right here used to be so freaking frustrating,
They
dog.
indicate a fatal
No
problem.
cap. No
This
cap.
one will likely always give us horror flashbacks.
Yes.
Many of us have been there, attempting to
Yes.
enjoy our favorite pastime and instead being greeted by those 3 awful red lines around the console's power button. It was a herald of the worst.
3 rings
2
of
months
death,
out of
boy.
warranty, Craig Jenkins' Xbox 360 also displayed
Boy,
the
that 3
dreaded
rings of
3
death,
red
boy,
lines.
had your ass
This could be
raging.
caused by several different hardware failures, and it was much more frequent than the PS3's yellow light of death. Because of its frequency,
Really
after
frequent.
several replacements, multiple homebrew methods surfaced across the internet. including
Yup.
wrapping it
Yup. Wrapping it. Yup.
replacements,
Yup.
multiple homebrew methods surfaced across
Yup.
the internet,
Wrapping it. Yup. I
including
used to do that
wrapping it in
shit.
towels while turned on in order to rewarp the motherboard.
Yup.
To appease players, Microsoft extended its warranty to 3 years and lost around 1 billion in recalls. Ouch.
They say most people with an Xbox 360 have an
That's
outstanding
rough.
experience, and there's no common fault.
Number 2, Joy-Con drift. Nintendo
I don't have a Nintendo Switch.
We
So
have
no,
prepared
so number
Joy-Con
1 is
color
definitely the blow on the
variations,
cartridge with the
neon
Nintendo.
blue and neon red.
While Microsoft fully owned up to its problem, Nintendo has taken a different approach. With the Switch's continued
I do want to
success,
switch though.
It seems like more and more people experience Joy-Con drift. Normally found in the left controller, drift will cause it to register movements that the player isn't making.
The right Joy-Con
Huh.
also has a motion IR camera that can.
I know
sense
the
shape,
I know
motion,
I know
and
the
distance.
drift also happens in like PlayStation, Xbox controllers. Like it's a common thing too around there. It's surprising enough. I didn't realize there's that much like on here. You know what I mean?
Objects in front of it, it's right here.
Whether this is due to dust,
Like, I didn't know it was
flaps,
like that
the
bad
rubber
on
cap,
this
or
one.
A deeper design flaw is unknown. Regardless of the cause, Nintendo hasn't taken it very seriously, despite it being the source of several class action lawsuits. In many cases, Joy-Con drift will persist even after paying for repairs. Or worse,
Sheesh.
after replacing the Joy-Con with a brand new one. Unfortunately, the new OLED model won't make any changes to the console's Joy-Cons.
Sheesh.
Joy-Con
That's
controllers
tough.
fit
That's
a lot of
tough.
features into one small package.
That's tough.
Before we continue, be sure to subscribe to our
Yep, I already subscribed to it, bro. I appreciate you. What's number 1? Whoa.
notifications.
Number 1, limited color scheme and
So
awkward
wow. So I
design.
guess the
Virtual
cartridge was
Boy.
just NES then.
One problem. It needs your eyes.
There were a lot of factors that led to the Virtual Boy's massive failure, including the rushed production phase.
What the
since
hell is this?
Nintendo was more concerned with work on the Nintendo 64.
Wait,
Early
is this
stereoscopic
VR?
technology should never have even left the planning stages.
Virtual Boy presents more
Wow, this is crazy. They had the VR before the
By
VR.
far the biggest design flaw was the monochromatic presentation. The Virtual Boy could only display red and black. And when paired with its cumbersome headset, the few players who actually picked one up found it could cause pretty significant eye strain.
Yeah,
Awkward
look at
stand,
that.
which made it a portable console that wasn't really portable, was just a terrible cherry on top. And it's still
Wow,
the
that's
biggest failure
funny.
to
I didn't
come
even know they had
from
one.
Nintendo.
That's hilarious. That was the Oculus before the Oculus. Oculus is great.
In the mood for more
That's
awesome gaming
crazy.
content?
That's crazy. I ain't gonna lie to you guys. But man, if you guys enjoy it, man, don't forget to like, subscribe. As always, your boy Kelly Go TV, aka the Do Rag King. I'm gonna catch you on the next one, man. Peace out.